Canada, our northern neighbor. Welcome to Canada. Bienvenue au Canada. I'm here today to tell you all about your northern neighbor, Canada. We'll explore Canada's fascinating history, discover how its government is both the same and different than the United States', and find out what drives its economy and learn a bit about what it means to be Canadian. It also explains the importance of both the French and English in the formation of Canada. Although the Canada of 1867 was much smaller, with only a handful of provinces, by 1949, all the other provinces and territories had come together to form the country we now know today. So, how does Canada govern itself? Well, there are many similarities between Canada's government and that of the US, which we'll explore shortly. One major difference, though, is the head of state. In the US, the head of state is the president. Due to Canada's close historical ties with Britain, the head of state here is still the ruling monarch, in this case, Queen Elizabeth II. It's mostly a ceremonial role without political power. Since the Queen is not usually around, she has a representative who stands for her symbolically during these ceremonial events. This representative has an official title and is known as the Governor-General. Politically speaking, the leader of Canada and the head of government is the Prime Minister, just as it is in the United Kingdom. This is because Canada follows the same system of government as the United Kingdom. It is called a Parliamentary Democracy. By way of comparison, the US government structure is called a representative democracy. Canada's Prime Minister is voted for at national elections that are held every 4 years, just like the US. Here in Canada, we have a somewhat unique policy that's embodied throughout the federal and provincial governments. This policy is known as universal health care. This means that all Canadians are entitled to publicly funded healthcare and services regardless of their ability to pay. This policy comes at a price in the form of higher taxes, but it makes sure that all citizens are guaranteed hospital and doctor care. Canada as a young country had its economic success based around the fur trade and plentiful codfish stocks. The more the country grew and was settled, the longer the list of valuable natural resources grew. Fishing provided a living for many families living on the Atlantic and Pacific coasts for generation after generation. Eventually, in the last few decades, the fish populations have been nearly wiped out, and only a relative few people can still make a living with their fishing boats. Nearby, Toronto is a center for commerce, manufacturing, communications, business, arts, and culture. The Toronto area is also the base for a relatively large steelmaking industry. A lot of its steel is used in car manufacturing. By way of comparison, what the aerospace industry is to Quebec, car manufacturing is to Ontario. You may be surprised to know that there are more cars manufactured here in Ontario than in any one of the US states. By far, Alberta's most important contribution to the economy revolves around oil and gas production. Underneath the ground here are some of the world's largest oil and natural gas reserves, which powers the economy of this province in a very big way, much like Texas in the US. These oil deposits led to the growth of Alberta's two largest cities, Calgary and Edmonton. Calgary is where most of the oil producers are based, and a lot of the other businesses in the city are likewise related to the oil industry. Also, just like Texas, Alberta is known for its premium cattle ranches and beef production. From an international perspective, it would be hard to exaggerate the strong, intertwined economic bond that Canada has with the US. I believe it's been said that they are the world's largest trading partners. Almost 1/3 of Canada's goods and services are exported, meaning they're sold outside of Canada. Of those exported goods and services, about 3/4 of them are purchased by the United States, making the US Canada's largest customer by a long shot. If you'd like something a bit closer to this century, with many thrills and spills, then check out the Calgary Stampede, known as the greatest outdoor show on Earth. It's one of the biggest tournament-style rodeos in the world, where you can see bull riding, steer roping, bareback horse riding, and chuck wagon races. From our scenic beauty, natural resources, lively culture, advanced economy, and social benefits, there are many reasons for Canada to be at the top of everyone's list. Thanks for joining us, and we hope to see you again soon. Au revoir.